"You wanted to see me, sir?" Fox asked, as if nothing had ever happened, as if he hadn't stolen the invisibility suit and quite literally disappeared. "Futuro," Burns said, and Fox winced. He didn't hear his real name spoken very often. "I would say welcome back, but we both know it's not pleasant for you to be here." "No beating around the bush, then?" The old man closed his eyes and grimly shook his head. Guy decided to help himself to a seat in front of the desk. The Corinthian leather squeaked a little as he adjusted himself, and he settled in and crossed his legs as if in his own home. Then he remembered that he had gas, and wondered if he shouldn't sit that way. Then he thought, screw it, the director had it coming to him. Burns looked tired and sad. "I'm sorry about everything," he said, which took Guy by surprise. "If you ever invent a time machine, when you undo yesterday, I give you my blessing. It went too far." Guy wasn't sure if the director was talking about blowing up his home or abducting Val. "Hey, it spilled milk under the," he started to say. "Give it a rest. I got something to say." Burns looked around his desk, his heavily doodled blotter, hoping to find the low-ball glass of scotch he hadn't poured. "Remember that other fox that worked here? She wrote a book and talked about her career. She said everybody believes they're the good guy. The terrorists think they're the scrappy rebels fighting the evil empire. Over here, our citizens think we're corporate bombing poor countries in self-defense. We kill a bunch of Arab women and children because they're jihadists." "Yes," Guy said. "I remember her. Did a Netflix show." "Saw it. Pissed me off." "What about her?" Burns stalled for a bit, wishing he had that scotch, or one of his cigars to chew on to buy himself some time. He started tapping out a rhythm on the edge of his desk with his knuckle before he took a deep breath and bit the bullet. "I got into this," he said finally, "to be the good guy, to get my revenge on the crooked system from within. I rose up through the ranks to get as much control as I could, so I could expose it to all the world and bring it down in flames. And somewhere along the line, I forgot that. I got swept up in it until all of a sudden, I'm an old man with no family, no wife, no kids, just a few plaques on the wall and a bypass surgery." Guy stared at him. He uncrossed his legs and sat up. After a pause, Burns continued. "I became, much as I hate to say it, the same crap I thought I was going to expose. I've ordered the murder of I don't know how many innocent people. I've overthrown regimes and then replaced them with puppets. I've destroyed I don't know how many lives. I've been a fixer for slave traffickers and pedophile politicians. I've pretty much mortgaged my soul to the hilt." Guy blinked once. Burns struggled to make eye contact with him, then struggled to maintain it. "I don't blame you for running," the old man said. "Now, I need you to do something for me, though. The satellite we used to flatten your house, it's a DHW, directed energy weapon. And I'm maneuvering it right now back here. I have to use it one more time, then I need you to destroy it." Guy struggled to maintain his poker face. Did the old man just admit that it wasn't the Mossad who destroyed his home? Burns went on. "Well, I don't believe people can destroy the planet. I'm pretty sure millions of people are fixing to destroy each other all over the world. The wheels have been set in motion. It'll happen regardless. But what matters is who'll come out on top. It can't be the people who caused this." "Why will it happen regardless?" "All kinds of people have committed genocide at one time or another, all over the world. The Nazis and the Jews, Japan and the rape of Nanking, the Turks and the Armenians, the US and the Indians. Sure, we say Stalin, Pol Pot, Mao, and Hitler killed millions of people, but let's be honest. They told people to do the killing, and it's always carried out with enthusiasm. Look at terrorists who claim to be fighting the oppression of their people by so-and-so. Do they target people in power who ordered the oppression or the soldiers who carry it out? No. They target innocent people who have nothing to do with it. People guilty only of calling God by a different name or by being able to afford a better life. Killing them doesn't avenge injustice or harm those who caused it in any way. So maybe fighting oppression isn't the real reason for terrorism. That's just the excuse for murder. I believe it's because no one really wants equality. They just want their turn to oppress. We've stoked the fires of popular hatred for years now. Everybody's going to be at each other's throats. The people behind this have been planning it for centuries. When all the scum of the earth kill each other off, they'll be left to rule the world. And the people they got to do all the dirty work for them, they'll be happy because they lucked out. They happened to be working for them and survived and got to be the ones doing the oppressing. And they'll continue to oppress the survivors, the new slave class, for probably ever. It'll be the darkest era in human history. Devil worship, rape, child sacrifice will be out in the open. Which brings me to you. I need you to expose them for me, and maybe, before too many people succumb to the kill shot, they'll use their last few days to mount an attack on the elites. Maybe knowing they're about to die will give them the courage to round up the cabal and send them to the guillotine. Or if they don't, if they just die, maybe the chefs at Davos will take revenge and spike the demiglace with cyanide. But would they? Guy asked. I think about that sometimes. At the end of Stalin's speeches, the audience applauded for 20 to 30 minutes, and the first to stop would be arrested and imprisoned, even executed. What a horrible person was Stalin, yes? But what a worse man was the soldier who did the arresting or pulled the trigger. He could have aimed his gun instead at the tyrant and shot him down from his podium, saving his country from years of terror. Maybe he'd in turn be shot by loyal soldiers, but I'm willing to bet they could have parted the crowd and ascended the steps, kicking the body away from that podium, and declare himself new Tsar of Russia, and the crowd would have gone wild. But nobody ever did. The director's eyes gleamed, and he sat forward. Well, I honestly thought I'd be the one to bring down the cabal. Maybe not that dramatically, but yeah, I would have done it. But there were just too many of them, spread out all over the world. And I was never in the same room as any of them. Who could I trust enough to give the order, hey, go whack old man Hensau? But you did it. Guy didn't say anything. It wasn't the time to be honest. Burns sat back, squeaking in his chair. You're the one to do this, Futuro. I heard all about your parents' plan for you to grow up and save the world. It sounded dumb, the fulfilling of prophecies and all that jazz, but after hearing what you did last year, I have faith. And this is what's important. I think you've got what it takes to keep the world from descending into evil after it's done. You'll be the charismatic leader to usher in the new era of peace. You can be the one who shoots Stalin, steps up to the podium, and doesn't become the same tyrant with a different face. I feel in my bones that I can trust you. I know you have a satellite with missiles. You used it to topple the Hensau tower last year. After I'm gone, I can't let our do fall into the wrong hands. Hell, my hands were the wrong hands. But I mean, nobody should ever have that kind of power. So I need you to destroy it. Promise me you will. The guy didn't promise anything. He just stared, his green eyes burning into the director's. The old man didn't know, would never have suspected, that Guy was struggling to hold in a flaming ball of gas. It just looked like he wasn't biting. Okay, he thought, on to plan D. I almost forgot, the old man said. Your new suit. He nodded while looking over Guy's shoulder, and Fox turned to see a copy of his invisibility suit on a mannequin, illuminated from above like a superhero costume. His tense lips parted, a hint of a smile twitching the corner of his mouth. He stood, crossing the office in 2 strides, and inspected the suit. It looked just like his first one, with tiny cameras and screens all over it. The image quality was probably better now, though, considering all the advances that have been made since he built the original. Try it on. Guy shrugged off his topcoat, remembering the 2 guns in the pockets, and draped it carefully over the chair, anxiously hoping the pistols wouldn't fall out. He slipped the suit off of the mannequin and wriggled into it, while Burns watched like a proud father. Guy was suddenly nervous, because there was an urgency in his belly, and he felt less inclined to trap this old man in his office with a bad smell. It's a little small, he said, and I'm not as skinny as I was. Ha! Tell me about it, the director replied. Comes with the territory. Better put it on underneath your clothes. I'll look away if you're shy. You'll need to wear it up out of here so no one knows. He swiveled in his chair to keep Fox in the corner of his eye and found himself staring at a plaque honoring him for his tireless service. Guy stripped down to his long winter undies and stepped into the new suit, realizing he was just bloated from breakfast and it would fit better later. He loosened the laces to his shoes so they would fit over the footies and got dressed again while Burns outlined the plan. In 1 hour, everybody is meeting to discuss the plan you're here to help with. Of course, you don't have any idea what to tell them because you haven't been briefed, but no worries. Just tell them what I'll tell you in a minute. Here's a yellow pad for you to take notes that you'll pass off as your own. Just tell them this so that they'll have faith in you. and they'll carry out their orders while you go off alone and do what I need done. So, tomorrow's the big day, the Festival of Fools. You ever read Hunchback of Notre Dame? Not recently, Guy said. Hum a few bars. Quasimodo doesn't look too good. He lives in Paris in the cathedral. Almost never leaves because outside they bully him over his appearance. One of the few times he does leave is to take part in the Festival of Fools celebrated on January 6th, tomorrow, during which they elect him Pope of Fools due to his hideousness. We didn't choose this day for nothing. So, noon, the president will speak to his supporters at a rally outside the White House while electoral college votes are about to be counted on Capitol Hill. While he's doing that, we have our people in the crowd stirring everybody up to go to make sure the count is honest. We'll have people already there, red hats on, protesting with Trump flags or dressed as cops. At 1 o'clock, they'll start pushing each other around. A few of them will start climbing the scaffolding set up for Joe's inauguration. That'll be live on international news. We expect it to rile up a lot of people. We'll start evacuating part of the Capitol Hill, like Library of Congress, Madison Building, the Cannon House. At 1:30, 2 pipe bombs will be found near the DNC and RNC headquarters. We wait 10 minutes, send our red hats up the stairs, and have some cops let off flashbangs. Agents will be in the crowd taking videos, interviewing one another. Some will say they got tear gassed. It'll be kind of obvious that they haven't been because their faces won't be, red, swollen, snotty. Yeah. They'll have onions in their hands that they'll hold up to their eyes, and it'll be in plain view, so observant people will be pointing it out, saying it's fake, and people get to argue about it. 10 minutes later, D.C. police chief declares it a riot. That ought to piss off all the people who had to hear the BLM riots being called peaceful protests all year. Capitol complex goes into full lockdown, sealed off both inside and outside. Rioters will breach Senate side of the Capitol. They'll vandalize stuff inside the chambers. We'll have camera crews already inside. We'll do a human sacrifice for the media to have a field day with. A woman. She'll get shot by security. Is she going to be black? Guy asked, buttoning up the suit. It might be overkill, considering. White girl. We're calling her Amanda. Good old American name. Amanda Beckett. She'll be the white George Floyd.